All right, Rossi, we're going to play a little game of left, right, left. So you missed out on the dating game before, you locked up with Courtney. The apps weren't really a thing, right?
Man, missed just slaying that sweet, sweet lady parts, Bill.
So we are going to do a little Tinder here, and we're going to see if we can find you your Bumbleina here.
Oh.
So we're going to give you 3 options, and swipe right is the good way. Swipe left is the bad way. So
Okay.
left, right, left is the game. So you get to pick one of these 3 girls, and we don't get the benefits of pictures, so it's a little blind date-esque.
Huh. All right. I like this, like the dating game.
Yeah. We'll do it up. We'll get some intro music when I figure out how to do all that stuff and get like a board. But we will start with Amanda. She is an attractive blonde lady. I will tell you that.
Okay.
Her profile isn't much, but it says, sorry, guys, you got to be over 5'10", and in return, you get a down-ass girl, dogs, animals, and snowboarding. No commas anywhere.
Okay. You know me, the penmanship or the grammar, if you will, not going to be a problem. Actually, I like that. That was a plus.
Well, save. I'll give me a little description, and we'll hit the other ones too.
Okay, I think the grammar is not a big deal to me. I'm all good with that. I actually like a sloppy grammar person. I believe it gets more clicks, likes, and I'm into that. I'm not really an outdoorsy snowboard type, so and the height might be an issue.
Yeah, it might be an issue, but in 5 you could pull off 5'10" in a pair of boots. Little George Costanza.
Oh, yeah. Listen, in high school I was 5'11", according to the Everett newspaper. So.
All right, and then we have T, who's 36, literally just a T, keeping it simple. She looks very attractive, but sunglasses in every picture, which is usually not a good sign.
How large are the sunglasses? Are we talking
huge, giant?
Oh, like
bug eyes, yeah.
Oh boy, okay.
And hers is, I want my rock, I want my king. You need to be fit. Well, it says like you, and then there's like a lot of girls do this where it's like you, and then it gives you examples of what you need to be: fit, athletic, strong, smell nice, alpha, perfect kisser, amazing lover, funny, and in return you get a down ass chick with attitude. So be prepared, because I know a lot of you bleeps can't handle it.
Oh, I don't even want to know what the bleep is. My mind will have to wander. I will say...
Oh, it's another way to call a cat a kitten, if you will.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? What?
Just 5 little letters that you're missing.
I will be very quick. I was all in on just the letter T. I kind of like that. It would be fun to maybe see where we're going. Very high expectations of a person she has. Because, how many fit people are funny, realistically? Let's be real. Like, hilarious fit people. Not real. They don't really exist. This girl's looking for a unicorn, and I don't need a kitty cat to be scared when I'm around this woman. She seems very territorial. I'm worried about her.
Okay, and then we have Hannah. Ooh. Very sweet. I would describe her as a cute girl. All 3 were blondes. So if you're a blonde guy, judging by your wife, maybe not. But her profile, very simple. I have a lot of commitment issues. My last boyfriend fucked me up bad.
Oh, I like this. This is good. This is where. So we're talking about a dating app. Let's just say for whatever reason I was out of the relationship I'm in, not marriage, not all that. This is the type of profile. I'd be intrigued to see where it potentially would go if maybe I decided to swipe a certain way.
So you're going right on Hannah? Is that your final answer? You have Hannah, T, and Amanda.
The other 2, see you later. I don't want to go snowboarding. I don't want to get up at 3:00 in the morning to snowboard. I'm out. I don't want to. There's way too much pressure from T. Too much going on. I'm not 5'10". I'm like 5'8", like barely. And I like this other girl. She has a lot of issues, so probably won't last long. Doesn't need to. And I could probably make her laugh for a little bit. I could potentially, or it could just be a really memorable date that I could talk to you about off air.
All right. Well, so I will let you know, out of all of those girls, I did swipe right on all of them just because we play the numbers.
Bill, and that's right there. I don't know how to be a bachelor in the year 2020, but I feel like what you just did mastered it.
Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about pop culture that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat.
Get yourself addicted.
Into the Pop Culture Piledriver. Get addicted to the content. I'm Jason Rossi. You can follow me across all social media platforms at Jason D Rossi. You can follow us along on the Twitter machine at Pop Culture PD, and it will instantly make you automatically go on the nice list, Bill, because people might be checking that list twice. This year's been a lot of people I feel like are going to go on that naughty list. But with me, as always, is my tag team partner right here in the podcast sphere. You can follow him along on the social media platforms at Billy D 2411. He is Billy D. What's going on?
Hello. I really feel like, I started the Christmas merriment early and hit it hard, and it's been kind of tailing off. And now, like, it's, Christmas Eve, which for us was kind of a big event for our friends. We usually would have a party put together by, one of the great members of our little friend group. And obviously not happening this year. So my merriment is dimming, but I got a PS5 in tow for my nephew. He doesn't watch, so hopefully he'll still be surprised.
No spoilers.
And, no spoilers for him, unless he's watching this podcast. And if he is, God bless him, but I doubt it. He's 13. So, yeah, I think that'll bring my merriment back up, being able to – it's still like my sister's gift. And she got one early, but it's not coming until January. I was able to secure one a little bit even earlier through a friend of the podcast, Adam Kaufman. So
that did work out. He talked to me about that on the side. I told him as long as Billy's getting it for a kid and not for himself, because I wanted to smack you if it was for you, but I'm happy.
Yeah, so we're going to hopefully make a little kid's Christmas.
That's what it's all about, Bill. I love to hear that. For those watching, I don't know what Bill's talking about, this lack of merriment. I'm freaking dressed up like Santa Claus right now.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I grew this beard for this exact purpose.
Great for an audio version of the podcast. Rossi is rocking the Santa Claus head to toe, and decent. Is that your beard just colored?
Yeah, it's my beard just colored.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I spray painted it. I did a lot of stuff. Took much more work than I thought. I'm going to be doing it for the kiddos as well. I may not be showing up with a PlayStation 5, but Uncle will show up as Santa. By the way, you can subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already on iTunes. Please leave a 5-star review. It would go a long way to helping us out. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and you can like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can see this video of me looking like Santa Claus. Also over on Facebook, you can like the Dork Shared Gooniverse. Do it. Don't be that dude. The podcast nonprofit Frank Says Hi is we work with someone. I'm the vice president on the board. Big things coming in January. We used to have big events. Unfortunately, we'll pivoting that a little bit. There will be some funds raised coming up in the future, and hopefully you guys can help out. We do raise funds for those affected by cancer, and we do give money to students going to college affected directly by cancer, and also patients at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. If you don't know about that institute, please do give it a Google, and it will just blow your mind, the things they do. And one of the most prestigious and sought after, and people fly from across the world to come here, especially youth that are affected by cancer. So we give unique experiential events for those there. It's a hard time, so we're just donating our funds to them right now, not just for cancer research, but for those affected. So please do, if you have some time, check out franksayshi.com. Now, Bill, with all that being said, there's a lot of stuff. We haven't teamed up in quite a little bit, and for once we're doing this in the PM, we've been doing some AMs. So I need to know what is in your mind that we need to get out of my mind.
And thank you. Oh, yeah. Go check them out on Spotify. And they will be releasing a lot of stuff after the holidays, because I found out for new bands, not a good idea to release songs during the holiday time unless you're Taylor Swift, because obviously she's just going to make millions regardless, or Dua Lipa.
Katy Perry right now. Katy Perry released a new song, and she has the video with Zooey Deschanel, which is genius. I don't like the song, but the video is really smart because Katy Perry and Zooey Deschanel kind of have a similar look. And go check that out if you're bored.
We got another team out. Do you want to go first? Because I have a lot to get off my mind.
Oh boy, I'm nervous already. But yes, I will go first. Bill, since we last got together, I tried a McRib.
All right. I have never actually tried one. I know Max probably incredibly disappointed. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow because me and the fam aren't getting together. So that'll be my New Year's Eve dinner.
Merry Christmas to me, McRib. I will say this. It wasn't in any way disappointing. It wasn't in any way really great, but it's worth trying. I feel like I had to wait a little bit. So I did it on a stream from DraftKings. For those who haven't checked out, we both do some stuff there. Obviously, that's your thing. But I mean, like for when it comes to the stream side. Yeah, Bill just does a little bit. It just supports his life. But with that being said, I did one for that. I waited about 25 minutes from when it was ordered to eat it. I don't know if that I feel like fast food, there's a short window. I think I've realized that now. Yeah,
especially with the Uber Eats. Like, there is a difference between Shake Shack when you're walking out or eating it in there, and then Shake Shack on a 25, 35, 45-minute delivery ride, especially burgers and any sandwiches. don't always necessarily hold up. Like sushi, you might be fine because it's kind of like a lukewarm temperature as is, but anything that's hot, you kind of want at least room temperature still.
Talk to my wife. My wife gets mad anytime we get takeout. All she wants is takeout. I'm big against it for the most part because I enjoy cooking and I'm super cheap. But like we'll get sushi like before the pandemic. She'd be like, "Oh, can we just go? I don't want to like it's going to be gross once it gets here." I'm like, "I'm going to pick it up. I'll leave. I'll call and leave and sit there and wait for it to come." She's a maniac. But I definitely think with fast food, it's meant to not only be made fast, I think it's meant to be devoured fast. Yeah, like that's what I think it really means. I don't think it means anything about the time. I think it means like eat this quick because if you don't, it's going to taste a little off. So the McRib, for those who've never tried, it's a patty which is called McRib meat, which take that for what it's worth. And then the barbecue sauce, very nice tang, onions and pickles. If I were to do it again, extra pickles. I'll leave the onions. I don't like onions, Bill, but the crunch and I do like if they were pickled, it'd be great, but the pickles are there. I would do extra pickles and I'd probably get lettuce on it. I like a lot of crunch with those sandwiches, and it's on the almost that old school Burger King chicken sandwich type of roll. Okay. So the roll was quality. So
we're speaking my language.
So I recommend it. I just don't want to tell anybody it's like, oh, it's going to be great. So it's definitely worth a bite, 2 bites, because you don't bite something once. Who does that?
The weird thing about that is the onions and the pickles, if you just looked at them from McDonald's, you would just be like,
pickles.
You would just be like, meh. But the onions I do love from McDonald's, and the pickles might
delicious.
Be my favorite thing from McDonald's. They're sliced so freaking thin too.
And they're so freaking bitter. Like they have that bitterness to them. They got the right amount. And I think that's a bit like Wendy's has great pickles too, but Wendy's are very dry. Not a lot of it's basically, it feels like it's like an old piece of lettuce. Mm-hmm. And like, I feel like when you ever take the pickle, like you've kind of were part of the people that introduced me to the JBCB with pickles.
Add pickles.
When you take the pickle out, it's almost translucent. Where at McDonald's, you got yourself a quality pickle.
Yeah. I mean, I would always get the 2 cheeseburger meal from McDonald's, and then I would add extra pickles. You just kind of gotta, because they're so good.
I think there's nothing better than some form of crunch anywhere when it comes to a burger.
Like if you're making your tuna fish and you're putting cucumbers in there, if you put both, fine. But if you're just putting cucumbers, like what you're an idiot. Like it's the same crunch, it's the same like idea, but you get such a better flavor with pickles and tuna fish. So that's a small rant there. But are you done?
Please take it away, my friend.
All right, how tall are like the members of the DSG? Like, would you say? I think Wes is like actually tall, and then Mac might be around 6 feet. I think
Keith is tall. He's probably like 6'2", maybe 6'1", 6'2". That's my guess.
But I want to know how tall like Davey and Fryer.
I think Davey's the same height as I am. Fryer probably around that. Probably I'm gauging under 6 feet. Like that's
I think Fryer might be around 6 feet, maybe 6'1". He played baseball. For Northwestern. Shocked he went to Northwestern because he is a moron, and we'll get to that as well. But I wonder, do they need help getting up onto their high horses? Because these fucking assholes in the DSG, we'll start here with Fryer. I don't usually throw people under the bus, but we were called out, especially I was. We'll get to you a little bit. I mean, you're called out every fucking week. That's your thing. Yeah, but Fryer put me in the same grouping as Mac. Normally, I would love that, but when it comes to takes, Mac's takes kind of suck from time to time. Famously doesn't like bone-in meat. And then Fryer goes on to expound about The Mandalorian Season 2, which is what I will talk about here.
Please.
Good season, but it's Season 2, right? It already sucked, like the first season. There was episodes that sucked. And it's a first season, so maybe you're finding your footing. And I always tell people, Rick and Morty Season 1, start with the me season and work your way back. But even the first episode's still good. There's a lot of episodes, even in the second season of the only show that's original content on Disney Plus, that were pure fucking garbage. And Fryer is still just like, because they had good episodes, all is forgotten. People forget that this isn't how TV was made years ago. You can't just binge it. Well, if it was all bingeable, it would take away from the pain of the show. I don't know. Lost Season 1, fucking thrill ride all the way through. Lost Season 2, thrill ride all the way through. That was fucking week to week. There's plenty of shows that are released week to week and still knock it out of the park every fucking week. So if you give me 2 terrible episodes to start, I'm going to have a fucking bad taste in my mouth about it. See, episode 3 was okay. It was a step in the right direction. And then they knocked it out of the park with the Ahsoka Tano, the follow-up episode. And then the episodes leading up to the final were good. They were plot building. But in all of the episodes that weren't good, It's like, I don't mind a side mission. Just make it a good fucking interesting side mission. In the first episode, they give you a little piece of info gristle about Boba Fett. That's it. The acting was bad. The storyline was bad. The camaraderie they tried to create around the fire was dumb. The belly in the whale moment of fucking Mando, dumb. And the other thing that pisses me off, one of the most important scenes, and this is a super spoiler, so start skipping ahead like 2-3 minutes now. But in the 7th episode, the penultimate episode, and it's not a penultimate episode like Game of Thrones is a penultimate episode where they kind of had all the action. And then the last one was kind of Fallout, you know what I mean? Like the Red Wedding was in the last episode of that series.
There's a few more episodes after that.
Yeah. So like this one, kind of, it was plot building. And Mando takes off his fucking helmet, which, incredible moment, kept it on the whole fucking time if you didn't know. But he takes it off because Bill Burr can't do something in the scene. But then he still winds up and coming and saving him in the scene. So Mando, the biggest moment, the biggest fucking reveal, the thing we're all waiting for, even though we know what the guy looks like underneath, but, story drive and building, he takes it off in the fucking 7th episode. And Bill Burr's like, nah, I didn't see that. But we already saw it as the audience, so it loses a little something. Then in the last one, he takes it off for Baby Yoda, but just don't have him do it. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've seen in television. Like, that is a huge build moment. There are so many times like that where you create a story where a guy doesn't talk the whole time, and then he screams at the top of his lungs to save, like, 2 gangs from fighting. And, like, it's emotional because it's the first time.
Like a Hodor, like when you finally figure it out. Like he didn't start talking like me and you out of nowhere. We got the backstory right before his passing.
Beautiful example. All kinds of examples like that. And they waste it there. Unreal. Just so dumb. The last episode was very, very good. You get some iconic moments. And then they even have a dumbass fucking Mark Hamill who winds up being the Jedi coming for Grogu, posting like 12 to 6 hours later after it, hey, you guys see any good TV lately? Well, now I know you're the fucking Jedi, and while I'm watching it. I'm watching it literally the next day on Saturday, 6 to 12 hours after I could have watched it.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
With me?
Yeah, no. Well, I love where you're at. This is old school Rossi on wrestling talk here when Bill would literally just go off about stuff. It's been a while, but I will say this. I don't agree with the Mark Hamill take. I think if you just post that, so what? That's so ambiguous. That's so...
it's him. Because there's only a few Jedis to choose from. And it's like, dude, that's like, just wait like 5 days. Like, you don't need to do it right after it. Like, come on. It was awesome. It looked great. It was one of those, like, it looked like...
He was excited, Bill. He was excited to be popular again.
It was like what they tried to do in that horrible movie with De Niro and all the old guys.
The Irishman?
The Irishman. They tried to, like, make the face young. It looked pretty good. So, pretty strong. But, like, on the whole...
Wait, so is he a bad guy?
No, he's a good guy. He's basically Mandalorians. If you kind of go with the Boba Fett, he worked for the dark side for most of his career. So like kind of but so, all of the season, like half of it, it's like Star Wars. Half of it was excellent. Half of it was kind of bad. So like Fryer being like, oh, Boba Fett, like now look at him now. It's like, obviously look at him now. They finally did something with him. Before he was kind of a joke. I don't watch all of the super side stuff. Like I don't watch Clone Wars and all that shit. And I don't read books. So I don't know how awesome he was. So to the regular, run-of-the-mill Star Wars fans, he's a joke. And now, of course he looks great because they made him look great. It's like if fucking Andrew Wiggins comes out of nowhere now and is awesome. Yeah, he's fucking awesome now. But before that, he showed me nothing. So he is nothing. Like, so don't be like all proud of Boba Fett now. They finally gave him a chance. Cool. It's fake. Like, it's like a wrestler being finally booked good.
Yeah, that's really where you should have went with that. It's like a guy. It's like a Jinder Mahal. He stung for years.
Oh, now look at him. He's fucking awesome. He gets a chance. Yeah. Well, no shit. Like, what are we doing here? And then Davey ripping us for the 1990 albums thing. Like he said, like
I'll take this one for a second. Okay. This whole like joking about being a music expert, I don't care. You can joke about me being a radio. You know why I say it? Because it's literally the only thing I did. It's like Davey talking about being a teacher. That's what he's done. Like, I don't care. I'll take it. No big deal. I take it all. But I will just say this. You're not a music expert just because you say you're a music expert. I've never called myself a music expert. I just consider myself someone, in the past. I don't know if I'm frozen or Bill's frozen at this point. Am I done, Bill? Are you done? I'm going to keep going. But yeah, so the point is that, like, I don't know. I don't care about that stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. But I just laugh when people try to say that, like, oh, I'm a music expert or I'm a music. Like, it's not a beef. It's no beef with Davey. I don't care. There's like maybe a little bit of fun beef behind it, but I got nothing against these guys. But now he's trying to go on this whole thing like, oh, I'm a music expert, so I'm going to play these most unique style music stuff. I'm going to post things now saying I'm an expert. Like, I could say a million things about myself, and that's going to make it true. Just like my horrible takes, which whatever, the people have your own opinion with that. That's fine. Like, I don't care if some people like my takes. By the way, getting defended a lot on the Twitter. Appreciate the real ones out there, not just following the popular vote. But I will just say, you're not a music expert just because you call yourself one. And just because you post obscure music doesn't make you cooler than anybody else. Just go post the music you like, do what you like, say what you like, and that's fine. That's my one thing about that. I thought that when he took such offense to, like, oh, being called music experts. Dude, I've logged like hours and hours of like listening to tested music and stuff like that. That doesn't make me an expert. I never said it. It's just, that's what I did.
Yeah, and also, even when like they introduced us on the Dork Podcast,
I was like,
you went air quotes, and I went, I guess. Like, we just like music, so we talk about it. So we did it with, they put
tongue in cheek.
You can put Disney on there if you want. And I was like, well, I like more Disney than any of those songs.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's opinion-based. Like, it doesn't make us any less. Like, if Disney's going to be on the list and you're looking at the soundtrack to the 90s, I don't care what sold the most. Those are some of the most popular things of all time. And I will go to my grave about Nightmare Before Christmas. That is, like, one of the greatest albums to me. That is what this all is. What this podcast is, just like Dork Podcast, Changed My Mind, Mac and Goo, all the podcasts you should be listening to week to week. Spend time doing it while you're traveling or you're sitting at home or jerking the bean. I just say it's all your own opinion. There's no, like, this is a board of governors opinion. Like, that's the way it works.
And he was like, tried to throw the, Blink-182 thing at me. Well, he did. You called Blink-182 a one-hit wonder. On a one, like, so, come on. Like, you can't. I want to know what's trolling here. It's like, well, was that trolling? Or do you really believe they're a one-hit wonder? So, but it's still all love. I mean, Fryer knows that I love him, even though I just screamed at him for fucking 10 minutes. But, like,
well, I guess
I don't know. And I have another hilarious thing about Fryer, real quick, is I posted this kid either needed to grow a pair or get a clue, and then he posted underneath it, well, the what with a who now? It's like, I couldn't have been any more perfect. Because he finally got angry, but he still doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, that's our people. That's a Dork Share Gooniverse for you. So that we can even skip that segment later. Bill, this week we watched Bad Santa. It was released.
We did. Sorry.
No, you're good. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I watched it for the second time, and it was a different experience. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, first time for me, and well, we'll get into it. Bill, this movie was released on November 26, 2003. I'm going to go through our normal questions that we get here. Bill, what was the price of gas in November 26th, 2003? Average price in America. I lost him again. So Bill is lost, and he's back again, baby. Just like that. Bill, what is the price of gas in November 26, 2003?
All right, 2003. I'm going to say this had to have been the giant price hike, not the one that was like 7 years ago. So I'm going to go $2.59.
Yeah, you're $1 off. $1.51. The average price in the United States. We're about to hit that peak after, obviously 9/11. We stayed a little low. And it's also holiday season, Bill, just so you know, which a lot of these movies we've done, October, November, December, always a little bit lower. Just a little spoiler, just so you know, because they try to get people to travel. Number one record in the United States. Here's a clue. This band was gigantic band. Very, very big for like a chunk of time, especially at this time, senior year, high school, early part of college.
Jesus, it was a band 2003. So I'm going to say, I should know this because Justin Timberlake went solo by then, so it's not them. And it's not the Backstreet Boys.
No, band, guitars.
Guitars.
Known as kind of in the butt rock genre to some people.
Oh, Nickelback, does that remind me?
No, I wish. That was before this.
Oh, Lifehouse?
No, don't dare you. That's Christian rock. It was Here Without You by Three Doors Down.
Oh, okay.
I like that album a lot. It was a big gym album for me. Number one movie in the United States, taking down Elf, which only had a 1 week run at number one.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So Elf was number one. Then when this movie was released, this was the movie.
I wasn't a big movie goer in like the 2003s.
I would bet you've never seen this movie, but it's popular enough.
I don't know.
It's a children's movie based on a Dr. Seuss book.
Children's. Is the Mike Myers one?
Mike Myers, Cat in the Hat, Bill.
Oh, gross.
All right, so Bill, just to give you paint a picture, we're between WrestleMania 19 and heading to WrestleMania 20. Who are your champions? A World Heavyweight and WWF?
Triple H?
Nope.
Not Triple H. Chris Jericho?
Nope.
Booker T? Stone Cold?
Nope. These two faced each other at WrestleMania 20.
WrestleMania 20. Okay, that's when I was hard out. I remember 19.
Yeah.
I don't remember 20.
19. One of these men debuted the next month, came over from a different company finally, and the other one won the title at the main event.
Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero?
Nope, that would be WrestleMania 20 the next year.
I have no idea.
At WrestleMania 19, the Brock Lesnar won the WWE title,
Oh.
and Goldberg would be your World Heavyweight Champion.
All right, so that was a little bit off.
That's all right. You were there. All right, the ratings in this film, Bill. IMDb gives it a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomato has a 79 critic score, 75 audience. Metacritic has a 70 out of 100. And the editorial in the Washington Times likened the movie to an evil twin, quote unquote, there's my air quotes, to The Miracle on 34th Street, and chilled that Walt Disney Company, and was all mad that the Walt Disney Company allowed such beloved character like Santa to be trashed by Merrimack Films. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave it a 3.5 out of 4, writing that Bad Santa was demented, twisted, and unreasonably funny work of comic kamikaze style. Nice bunch of words in there. Bill, we have a 1-star review and a 10-star review from IMDb. What would you like first?
Always bad news first.
1-star review, probably the worst movie I've ever seen, by MT Miser on the 28th of December, 2003. This film had no moral redeeming feature or part to it. It's crude, rude, foul, profane, and with a single exception scene, not funny. This was a waste of talent of Billy Bob Thornton and Lauren Graham. Bernie Mac seemed to be there just for a paycheck. Do yourself a favor and do not waste part of your life watching this.
I don't necessarily disagree with the sentiment, but I think it was hilarious at times.
Here's your 10-star review. This caused the most surreal Christmas ever at our house by MSP08 in 2005. We mistakenly purchased this movie to watch with our family on Christmas Day. Believed it to be a heartwarming family film. After the first minute, we realized how wrong we were. This film is hilarious and criminally overlooked in the UK, where we were given zero publicity for some reason. I thought it was fantastic from the beginning. Our older relatives were shocked by the first half of the film, but halfway through it does start to become a genuine heartwarming, and you do become desensitized to the amount of bad language it occurs. The ending had us crying, and we all agreed that it was the best Christmas film we had ever seen. Genuinely moving because of its realism and the ability to be funny and tackle issues at the same time. It might not be the most traditional, again, air quotes, of Christmas films. It isn't cheesy, but it certainly brought our family together. Rent it, watch it, buy it.
Oh, wow. A little buy stream trash right there. So, again, probably somewhere in between the two reviews. I mean, we can start to crack the egg here on this one.
All right, Bill, the curtain jerker. Did you like it?
Wasn't bad.
Not really.
Yeah.
Didn't love it.
It was okay. Like, I thought, like, at times, I was like, this is fucking hysterical. Him yelling at the little kids is unreal. I fucking love that. When he just turns around in the car and goes, are you fucking with me? Like, Billy Bob Thornton, like, that is just like a blank check right there for him yelling at children. I could watch that all day. And those are the best scenes in the movie. And basically anytime, like, they pay off something that he says is great. But as a movie, it's not a good movie. Like, the plot sucks. It's very slow. It's very choppy. And the acting on a whole isn't great.
We'll get to all of those. Speaking about it, casting. What did you think of the casting, Bill?
I mean, Billy Bob Thornton as Bad Santa, I don't think you can do much better. I mean, it's perfect. Maybe you want to pick somebody a little bit fatter, but I don't know if you could get more of a genuine guy being a dick. I think he's probably the best at doing that out of anyone going today.
Yeah, for me, I think this was the best part of the movie. I'm not a huge Billy Bob Thornton fan. I don't really find him all that compelling. Aside from he was incredible in Fargo. Like, I think his role in Fargo. He was insane. This TV show we're talking about. But just so you know, this movie, and then watching it, knowing this, I did read this before. They actually, because the Coen brothers were like executive producers of the movie once, because this was kind of like an independent film, if you couldn't tell by the view of it and the kind of lo-fi look of it. The Coen brothers, who came in once the movie's going to get theatrical release, they say that the movie had a Taylor role specific for James Gandolfini of Sopranos fame. And watching The Sopranos and then seeing this would have been perfect. Maybe it would have seemed too like gangstery, so they would have had to make him seem more like down on his luck, because Billy Bob Thornton obviously like poor and like a thief, a criminal.
Well, yeah, the believability of him being a mall Santa and somebody removing him even for cheapness kind of goes out the window right away. So you're pretty much not in reality with the casting of him.
Sure.
But the casting of him also kind of makes it watchable from the sense of that he hits that note like nobody's business.
Yeah, they also wanted Angus T. Jones, if you don't know, that's from 2.5 Men, to play Thurman Nerman, which might be the funniest name in movie history.
Merman.
Merman, sorry. So here's the other actors they wanted to get to play Billy Bob Thornton's character as Willie. It was obviously James Gandolfini was like where they tailored it to. Bill Murray, Jack Nicholson, or Robert De Niro. So, Bill, you have to pick Bill Murray, Jack Nicholson, Robert De Niro to replace Billy Bob Thornton. Who is it?
I guess I would go with Jack because I think he would do a little bit crazy stuff.
Amen.
But none of them I think would fit better. I think Gandolfini would have been the call. I'm trying to think of like outside of those guys who I would cast. But Charlie Sheen actually might not be bad to go back to 2.5 Men and get that same kind of chemistry back. He might actually be a pretty good bad Santa because he's got like the real life drinking problem. But anytime Billy Bob Thornton, like, have you seen the remake of Bad News Bears?
Oh yeah. This is where that came from. So just so we know real quick, this could be something we talk about after, but I looked at Billy Bob Thornton's run of movies. So this was in 2003, along with Love Actually, which everybody was in. He played the president. Intolerable Cruelty. Never really saw that. That's with Catherine Zeta-Jones and George Clooney. I was also in a movie called Levity, which couldn't tell you what it is. Then he did Friday Night Lights. And then he did a few years, then 2005 was Bad News Bears, and he was also in a movie called The Ice Harvest, which is underrated. But Bad News Bears, clearly that role was after seeing this. Like, they saw him do this, and like,
I mean, probably like Mr. Woodcock too got that similar vibe. So like they probably got a lot of that out of it. But to me, the best thing he did, you already mentioned, is his role in Fargo, the TV show. That is, I've rewatched that season. I stopped watching Fargo season 2 halfway through. I rewatch Fargo season 1 all of the time because he's so good. And all of them are so good.
The intertwined story is so good. Like, I don't think we could recommend Fargo season 1 enough. Like, we both really like that. But in this one next, Bill, acting and writing. I'll start with this one. I thought the acting was good. Felt like all the actors kind of brought something to their character. I felt like these characters seemed like real people. So especially in a movie, like, you could say that about a lot of movies, but some you could tell when people are going through, like what this guy mentioned about Bernie Mac. I'll say Bernie Mac was just there. Like, he barely spoke. It was definitely a name grab. Also loved John Ritter in this, by the way.
Oh, he's great.
His last live action movie was Bad Santa.
Yeah, so they have the little tribute at the end there. But I thought a lot of, like, Tony Cox, I don't think you would find a better dwarf little person to play it. The kid, Brett Kelly, holy crap, was he good.
His body was amazing.
So freaking good as like the little kid actor. He plays that beautifully. Lauren
How
Graham,
do you find somebody that looks like he is just in Cox there? They look exactly like they're almost the same build. Just he's a little tall. He's like a box. The kid.
Tony Cox has more legs and he is like more like upper body.
Torso. Yeah.
And then when they put him, like, whoever did, and I'm sure they had a small budget for costume, which probably helped with his outfit. But when he wears like the little tiny like sweatpants shorts to school,
oh my Lord,
I feel so like embarrassed for him as a person.
It's cringe. The movie's like, cringe.
It's so cringy, and then he's got the snot all over his face. Like, that's uncomfortable to watch the whole time. And that is a great line as we get to, a little bit of the speak and spell here when he's like, do you need a snot rag for Christmas, kid? Like, get this kid out of here. He's making me uncomfortable. But I thought like the acting, like, I didn't love Lauren. Like, I like Lauren Graham. I just don't like her in this. John Ritter, him being super uncomfortable. It wasn't great acting, but it was funny.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's more. The writing was good. Acting was fine. Like, yeah, John Ritter wasn't anything to write home about. I liked his character, his nervousness. I just didn't like the one scene where, and this was a big issue for me, and I don't know, maybe this is just me nitpicking, which that's what we're doing here, is when Willie has sex with the plus-size model.
Oh, my God. Woman,
sorry. And model.
And you're not going to shit right for a week.
And then John Ritter explains the same. We just saw the scene. And then John Ritter's character, word for word, explains the same thing to Bernie Mac right after, where I feel like they could have cut him talking about like the exact words, the verbiage, what he saw, how he walked through. Like, I feel like that was such a waste of time.
Yeah, there was a lot of wasted time in
this
movie, all over this place with like exposition that we really didn't need, that they had already established. I do love the answering machine exposition, but even after a while, that was too much. You don't need like 900 messages of why this guy sucks. Yeah. But I will say the writing part where he talks about, doing the girl from behind, and then later the lady of the night is out in front of the hotel, and he's like, "Hey, come over here." He's like, and she goes, "I didn't shit right for a week. Stay away from me." Like
I can't walk right.
That stuff it was beautiful in the movie. That was the funniest part of the movie when he flips the board on him playing checker. Absolutely loved it. Like all of that stuff is great. Like the supercut of this movie, which I watched again, like after we just to refresh myself for the Dork Shared Gooniverse list, because I'd probably seen this movie in like 2005. Sure. So I remember liking it, and then I watched that and I was like, oh yeah, this movie is fucking great. But on a whole, once you have to have the whole plot and it's not just one liner and joke by joke by joke, it's not a movie I would rewatch again.
That's one thing
I'd watch the supercut though.
Okay. Well, is that 60 minutes maybe? Because this thing's 91 minutes and feels like it's 2.5 hours.
That was the other thing, and I think that is how I judge all content, is how long did it feel? Did it feel shorter than the runtime or longer? Like I paused it to get up and go to the bathroom, and it was it was an hour gone and there was still 30 minutes left, and I was like, good fucking God, there's so much left in this.
Yeah, you cut this down. All right, Bill, hit my music. I'll start with this one. Music played real no part in this movie.
And for a Christmas movie.
Well, this is where you could tell it's a low budget independent film. They didn't make it. They had a couple of the Muzak, Jingle Bells and stuff like that in the malls and in elevators or when you saw them traveling. But for the most part, music played no real role, so it's kind of insignificant in this movie.
Very, very insignificant in this movie. But I will say it didn't stand out as bad.
No.
So it's kind of like a good ref. So I think whoever did it well enough where you didn't notice it as bad. So, I don't know. It's a passing grade on music, I guess.
All right, Bill, what about the legacy? What do you think is the most memorable thing from Bad Santa?
It's the performance of Billy Bob Thornton. I really think that is it. And, it turns so dark at the end. Like ridiculous. Like there is a fucking brutal murder in this movie.
Well,
they play off as funny.
He's not really murdered.
He's murdered.
No, because he sends the kid the message from jail.
No, Bernie Mac is fucking executed.
Oh, Bernie Mac, yes,
brutally.
Sorry. Oh yeah. That just
rewatching that
in a horrible way. I'm sorry. Getting crushed between cars seems like a top 5 way to no thanks.
At first I thought they were just gonna turn the screws to him, and then I was like, oh shit, she fucking keeps going. They're fucking trying to kill this guy. Then he tries to electrocute him, and then they back over his fucking head with the back wheel of a truck. That is out of fucking left field. That wasn't the feel of this movie. But I think the legacy is 100% the performance of Billy Bob. He was great, and I think that's the only thing. Tony Hale is also funny. Yes. He has some great scenes with Bernie Mac. Draw me a fucking diagram on how I'm going to get this guy up. But it's Billy Bob all the way.
Yeah, I did. That's a really good point. I didn't really look at it from that standpoint. I actually always go with, so the one scene I knew of without seeing words or anything is when the kid, or Thurman, that we come to find out, walks in on Billy Bob and Lauren Graham have sex. By the way, just a little appreciation for Lauren Graham with a Bing Bong Hello performance. Just Gilmore Girls mom, very polite, very nice, sweet. You could tell she's attractive, but you don't look at her that way. Yeah. This movie, all the guard is down. Very, very beautiful in this movie, and very sexual for an odd way. And that's another thing that was very unbelievable. She has a thing for a Santa, so
because she was Jewish.
She has a thing for me. But Billy Bob Thornton, then she gets to know, this guy's trash. He's a trash human being. There's no redeeming qualities. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to keep going with this guy. I don't know. Didn't like that. But the sex scene where she's in her bra and the kid comes in and with wooden pickle, which I know this, I didn't know about that scene, but just seeing that visual of her laying there and a child coming in, him talking about the wooden pickle, it's a callback to how he cut his hand. And I find this is the funniest thing, and I know maybe it's not the best for legacy purposes. I just found how hilarious it was when he's leaving. He goes, "Good night, Santa. Good night, Mrs. Santa's sister," because he explains why
the story
he is no longer.
I was with an unclean woman.
Yeah, but I think overall you're probably more right. The legacy really of this movie is Billy Bob Thornton as this character. Even if you don't see the movie, just the visuals.
If you want to sprinkle a little Thurman Merman and Billy Bob Thornton relationship in there, because that is the stuff that is the best in the whole movie when he's just fucking screaming at him. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I'll still laugh. I'll look at it right after this. The fucking, are you fucking with me? Like, when he just gets unreasonably angry at him, it's the best.
All the time, the whole time. And that's in the scenes with him being an actual mall Santa, which I think I could have watched a movie without all the heist and all that. Like, I could watch him just being a dirtbag, bad Santa Claus at a mall, like pushing kids off, telling the kids to get the F away from him, being a drunk. Like, that was funny all on its own. But then Now Forever Bill, did or will this movie stand the test of time?
No, it only holds up as a supercut. It's like 5 minutes of just jokes.
I personally said, I think it does. And here's why. Because I'm not watching this necessarily again, but I think because it's one of the only like really adult themed, not like horror, not, like comedy with like a Office Christmas Party type adult. Like, I'm talking, this is like literally like an RX rating, just like language. If you're into that style, like of just like almost raunchy, like Christmas movie, if that's what you're looking for, that's the only reason I think this thing stands up. But to me, I don't think it's outwardly rewatchable unless you have an affinity for the movie from when you saw it when you were young.
I think if you had somebody come in here and kind of cut it up a little bit, I mean, obviously you can't reshoot it like it's a fucking new DC movie. But I mean, I think there are the bones here for a great movie. Yeah. I think you could have sold the genuineness of it a little bit. We didn't even mention Tony Cox's wife in this, who's fucking hilarious. Great. She is so good. I loved her and everything that she did in this movie. Hilarious performance by her, and it was just sprinkled in there a tiny bit.
Lauren Tom is her name. Lauren Tom, the actress.
I guess if you love this kind of humor and you don't mind a kind of dragging, slow plot, it'll hold up. But for me, rewatching it, it doesn't have, like, if it had, like Goo always says, where are the editors? I'm an editor, and I would have cut probably, it's a 91-minute movie. I could have cut 40 minutes out of this.
Well, then you're not even a movie at that point. But I think, honestly, this was like 75 minutes. This thing could be just the pacing. Like, there was very sleepy moments in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Lastly, Bill, our pull apart. Final thoughts on any extra things you want to mention about this movie?
I mean, his line about when he's banging the girl in the department store, that killed me. Quality stuff. Really I thought the thing with, like, I'm on my fucking break was a little bit too much. I mean, I've never known a drunk that was like that level of drunk, so maybe they are that angry, but it was just so unbelievable in the storyline that I think if you tied it back in with a slightly tighter plot that was believable, I would love this movie instead of just being like, yeah, I could, I'd recommend it to somebody who likes this kind of stuff. And the fact that it turned so dark and they still kept it light, like when he murders Bernie Mac, I forgot about that scene. Yeah. That's vicious. And then he turns his back on Billy Bob, which kind of makes sense. I do like the little heartwarming stuff at the end, but I feel like there was a great movie in here and they just didn't hit it right.
Yeah, I think you basically took a lot of thunder of what I was going to say. Like, I understand the appeal of this movie also. That's what I said. Like, I just don't see myself regularly going back to it, but I think it's a great, like, it's in, like, my favorite part of an Oreo cookie, Bill, and most people's, is the cream, right? The cookie's good. You need the crunch. But, like, this is good bread. This is like a sandwich with great bread and crap meat. Like, the beginning and the end have all the part of what you need. The middle, we're getting all over the place. For me, what I really liked about the beginning was just, like, the introduction, seeing what they are, being that they're, like, stealing and that he's losing his skills, Willie as Bad Santa. And then the end where he hates Thurman. He just used them for the house, steals the dad's car. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie as well. But the part where he's like, I know you're not Santa. Now you're my friend. And I thought you'd get me a Christmas gift is like almost tear jerking. And then when Billy Bob at the end knows he's not going to do this, the cops get called. Obviously there's a heel turn and Billy Bob running to the house, holding that pink bunny, just getting shot. By the way, elephant. Thank you. How has he survived that? I don't know.
But also, it's a rule, I think, among police officers. You're not allowed to shoot at a fleeing suspect.
And especially not when he's just going towards the house. It's not like he was heading towards a place they couldn't get him. Or he's running downhill.
We're already living in a super unrealistic world in this movie anyways.
Yeah, true.
But,
But he survives that. First of all, and I just love the note at the end when he said there's blood on the gift, but it's just like the one you gave me. And like, it was a nice cherry on top to make you feel like there's a little bit of a heartbeat where I didn't think there was one originally watching through the first 90 or 86 minutes.
Yeah. Again, my main takeaway from this is there's a good movie in here. They just didn't execute it.
So Bill, moment of truth. I always know how you go. I already have mine booked in my head. How would you rate this movie? 1 out of 11. For those who don't know, that's the PCP way.
I wish I could go back and look real quick at my Christmas list where I had this ranked, because I think it was kind of high. I would knock it down significantly now. I'd probably put it at like 20 if I didn't already have it around there.
I'm happy. So just so those that are still with us at this point, I never saw this movie before, so it wasn't on my rating. This thing was a top 10 in the Dorkshire Gooniverse, which clearly shows the age of our crew and shows the type of comedies we're into. And I don't disrespect anybody else for liking me. It's just not for me. Again, if I saw this in 2003, just like we talked about with Step Brothers, first time viewing in 2020, maybe feel a little different.
I still think your Step Brothers take is weird because you like Superbad. But anyways, that's a
Superbad was incredible, and it was basically like what I lived. I never lived like
true. It's true. Very true. No one's ever. Well, that's the point of Step Brothers. No one's ever lived like that.
I would hope not.
I don't know, like 5.5.
All right, we're pretty close. And I give it a 4 out of 11.
Yeah.
And that's my worst score ever. And I don't think the movie, like, I'm not trying to say this movie's trash, just not for me. So between us, we're giving about a 4.5 out of 11. Clearly, nowhere near the Tommy Boy, basically the Tommy Boy Award for the perfect movie.
Yeah.
This has nothing to really reach for.
It had enough laughs. Like, again, like the supercut is really all you need because the movie as itself.
Supercut. How long is the supercut? Is it on YouTube for like 5 minutes?
It's been playing behind me the whole time. It's like 5 minutes.
Okay, I've been watching that, and I didn't know if that was just you clipping something, but now I know where we're going there. So again, Bad Santa. We don't love it. We don't necessarily hate it, but it's leaning towards more of the dislike.
This week in the Shared Gooniverse.
Bill, do you know what's going on this week in the Dorkshire Gooniverse aside from you lighting it all on fire?
I have no idea. I know that Dork did The Mandalorian.
Yep,
and I know that Mac and Goo also did The Mandalorian. I
think they did something else. Don't they usually do something else?
Oh, yeah, they did the 1989 classic Aliens. I'm such an idiot. I think the director of that movie also passed. But I think they might have stuck in some Mandalorian talk in there as well. Changed my mind. Fryer ripped on us, and I only listened to that. And
Santa Claus. They reviewed the movie The Santa Claus.
Okay.
I didn't listen to it yet because I actually really like the movie and I like when people have passion for movies. What did they rip about us? Was it just the thing you said, or was there something?
I think it was just about me. I mean, now they call us the People for Communism podcast now.
Excuse
me?
Which
I love.
Excuse me. No, they have to realize we're the Wives podcast. Is the only one that's married in that podcast. Wife listens to our podcast. Just saying.
Very true.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate all the listens. Wives, daughters, sons, uncles, cousins, estranged people, dead people. We'll take those votes. Bill, what about TLDR? What did they do?
They talked comics as usual.
They did. And what about our streamers?
The streamers, Dr. Joe, he be twitching, Davey be twitching as well, and Shime Time. I need to get myself on one of those Among Us, but I always get my Shime Time alerts. Check it out whenever I can, so check it out whenever you can. Then Pineapple Boys will be taking the week off because it has been a whirlwind for, I think, a lot of us here. So we will be doing episode 6, Weekend Warriors, next week, jumping in full force as Psych really takes up in the good episodes. And I feel like I need to say this because I think we attacked some of our more sensitive DSG members. Oh, it was all with love. It was all with love. We were going at you.
And listen, I will just say, no, do not apologize. I've never gotten one apology. All right. And I've been absolutely destroyed in the year 2020. And I will say this. I always take it without offense. So if people are going to say, because here's the thing, if you're going to shoot the rubber bullets, be able to take a hit. That's all I'll say. I could do this all day.
Well, they get kickback. You get kickback from a rubber bullet.
And that's what people need to realize. If you're that sensitive, and I think we're dealing with some of the more sensitive people, and maybe one of the ones we spoke about, we'll do the sensitivity rankings of 2020 coming up next week. I think next week we should just do a bunch of lists of things.
Well, we could do the superlatives if we get it together in time. We could be the podcast that reveals all the superlatives, but I don't know if we'll have enough time to get the vote out. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Votes. We're doing it. F people. We're not the people's podcast. We're the freaking opinionated podcast. And we're not scared to take a hit, Bill, because you know what it is, Bill? Just like Rocky Balboa said, it's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit, Bill. And bounce back, baby. Just like we're all going to in 2021. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. But I really appreciate everybody for listening. Hope for those that joined us visually seeing Santa Claus, I got to go wash this all up. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, wherever you celebrate. Do it to the fullest. If you can't be around your family, just give them a call, send them a text. There are a lot of people out there going through a weird year. So, but all of our best here on behalf of PCP.
I was just going to say, I do kind of want to do the whole superlative list review thing with everybody because I think it would be fun. And you brought up Rocky, and Rocky 4 is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's kind of a holiday movie. So we could do that.
We could end on another movie. We got time. We could do 2. Who knows, Bill? It's a crazy time. A lot of people not working.
Because if I can change and you can change, well, then maybe we can all change.
That'll do it for us. We'll see you all here next time. You can follow us at Pop Culture PD. Make sure to subscribe. Tell a friend about it on Christmas morning. If you don't have money, you lost all your money because this year is terrible. Tell somebody, here's the gift of a podcast I listen to. It's called Pop Culture Piledriver. He can be found at Billy D 2411. I can be found at Jason D Rossi. We can be found at Pop Culture PD. We will be back next week. Appreciate you all so very much. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Frank